Hello.
Hi, David. How are you? Oh, we seem to be here again. I'm not sure how that's happened. Outrageous. Stroke of fate and coincidence. It's a sunny day. I think I'd rather be in the pub, but you know.
Yeah, pretty much. But stuff keeps coming up and interesting in film, and since you're our resident film expert, then
yeah,
you're the guy to talk to.
Yeah, expert. Yeah, let's call it that. Yeah,
that's what you call yourself, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not?
So, of the moment, obviously, the big thing that everybody is talking about is Adolescence, and your good friends who worked on Boiling Point with you as well.
Yes.
So, for the keen-eared of you out there who remember when we had our James Bond chat, Angus was executive producer and part of the Boiling Point team that developed that film. BAFTA nominated. Was it Emmy nominated as well? Or something else? Or was that something else?
What's that? I lost sound for a moment there. Obviously, that happens.
Sorry.
I didn't have my full team recording audio for me.
That happens when people talk about work that you've done in the past, does it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. A big blank.
Boiling Point, BAFTA nominated, multi-BAFTA nominated?
Multi-BAFTA nominated, lots of British Independent Film Awards. Azuka Hoyle won a BAFTA Scotland for her performance in it. And Kenneth Branagh stole our BAFTA by over-publicising his film, Belfast. And because he needs one.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it won so many awards that, it was just wonderful to go to the BAFTAs and be so well received. I think there are two reasons it did well, right? Firstly, Stephen Graham was in the lead with an incredible cast. Vinette Robinson, Ray Panthaki, all of these people that you will see popping up in various brilliant roles. And in fact, Vinette went on to do the TV series, but it had that, and it had the one take. It was shot in one take, which was a huge risk, very difficult at the time, but worth doing, because if you're going to make a British independent film, it needs to stand out. You need to do something that makes it stand out. Otherwise, you're just making another film for less money, which doesn't always go very well. And it was brilliant. It really took off. It really, really did very, very well.
So did the idea of doing a single take, was that from the very beginning?
I believe so. So Phil Barantini and James Cummings wrote the script together, and Phil, very interesting character, Phil Barantini. So he was in Band of Brothers. This is the really weird connection. There's a really weird connection between Band of Brothers and Boiling Point. So Band of Brothers is obviously this epic Second World War film that everybody was in. Damien Lewis was in it. Ross from Friends was in it. Everybody on Earth was in that. Dexter Fletcher. And it happened to be that Stephen Graham, Phil Barantini, and one of the producers that was on Boiling Point were all in Band of Brothers together. So there's this sort of strange connection that goes from Band of Brothers to Boiling Point. They couldn't be more different.
I didn't realize Stephen Graham was in it. I'll have to go back and watch it again.
He is. I think he played, was it Myron? Mike? I think it's a
maybe.
Yeah, and Phil played a character that was known as Skinny in it.
Right.
And it was obviously brilliant. But Phil had a period of having a lot of work, and then it just sort of died. And that's when he became a chef. And I think it's fair to say he probably overindulged in a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of chemicals during that time. And Boiling Point, in some way, you could sort of see it as a documentary, really, because so a lot of chefs end up going down that path because it's a very high stress, high pressure environment. But what came out of it, of course, was this brilliant script that we had that had a storyline, but it had ad-lib sections in it because it's one shot, so anything could happen. And we knew, in fact, that we needed actors who could be on stage and screen, because if something goes wrong in a stage play, you don't just stop.
Exactly. You just got you just got to keep going. Yeah.
You keep going. You keep going. Just to give you an example of that, Thomas Coombs, who plays the health inspector at the beginning of Boiling Point, he knocks a fork or a knife off the table in the scene where he's talking to Stephen Graham, the chef, about, you know, the health infringement in his cafe. And that's not in the script, but he, at the end of this lovely scene that they have together, where Stephen's obviously very uncomfortable and the inspector is a sort of anal character, plays everything by the rules, he picks up that fork and puts it back on the table, and he says, and of course you're going to have to wash that. And that, my friends, is the genius of Thomas Coombs, who you can see that, you know, he's in loads of things. He's in The Death of England, and he pops up all over the place. That was a stage play, Death of England, but he's a brilliant, brilliant actor, lovely man. So that's why we need the stage and screen actors. Now, here's where everything gets... You're wondering what the connection is with Adolescence, right? Okay, and obviously they're both one shot, but this is where things get very interesting. So Boiling Point was commissioned by the BBC Studios to turn into a television series.
Oh, right.
And the producing team on it kept asking the BBC, why aren't we shooting each episode in one shot? Surely that is the reason, the raison d'etre, or the USP of Boiling Point, that is one shot,
Right.
from beginning to end. I didn't really give them an answer until eventually it came out that there was another television series coming out with Stephen Graham in it that was shot in one shot. And lo and behold, it's Adolescence.
Interesting.
And Adolescence, what's the connection between Adolescence and Boiling Point? Well, it's not just that. It's not just the one-shot thing. Philip Barantini, the director, is on Boiling Point, the film, and Adolescence. Matt Lewis, the director of photography, our lovely cameraman, who we call the cinema toddler because he's about 4 years old, but he was running around set brilliantly on Boiling Point, is the DOP on Adolescence, along with one other guy, because it's quite a big crew because they're obviously trying to do more. And my sound team, I call them my sound team, that's very unfair. They're obviously not my sound team, but they are lovely guys who I've worked with for years, who I brought into Boiling Point from Top Gear and the Grand Tour. Rob Entwistle and Kif McManus are doing the sound on Adolescence. So quite a lot of the learnings, along with Stephen Graham and his wife Heather Graham, that flowed through Boiling Point are continuing and have been expanded on in Adolescence, where the challenge is obviously bigger. The one-shot challenge is obviously bigger because there's drones and there's car scenes and there's, you know, armed police raiding a building, and there's all those lovely intimate moments with the father and son and in the interrogation suite. But you can legitimately say that what they learnt, or the mistakes that were made, or what we learnt while we were making Boiling Point, have flowed through into Adolescence, which is wonderful to see. And I'm not bitter at all that I'm not involved in that project. Shall we just end the podcast there and I can just walk out?
Yeah,
Can I throw something at the screen? Because we said last time we would do drinks. So
Exactly.
if it was for Boiling Point, I'd have a glass of wine with me, which I actually do, although it's tiny. For Adolescence, I guess you'd want a Calippo or something.
Something, yeah. I went for coffee because I'm in the office.
Of course you are. Costa again.
I know.
Can you not spread it around a little? I mean, there's other coffee shops to love. I mean, Costa's coffees can taste a bit burnt sometimes as well, don't you find?
Yeah, but this one's good, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
And I had a free one.
I'm not judging you, David, although I am judging you. Oh, you had a free one? Well, that's okay.
I had a free one, so I had to...
After 2019, if it's free, it's in there. 20% inflation. Let's go.
Exactly.
Wow.
Plus, I'm driving after this, and I didn't think drinking would be the responsible thing to do with my son on the back and all that.
You're quite right. So you'd be all right if he wasn't on the back, but there we go.
Yeah, then it's just me, and that's a little bit different. But when you have to be responsible for someone else, that's a whole nother thing.
So one-shot films, there are many out there, or there are many that purport to be one-shot films. I will just say, Boiling Point is a true one-shot film. It is one shot. Everybody says to me, did you cut at the toilet door? When the manager goes into the ladies and she's sobbing behind the toilet door. She's in there for a while, but there's audio. Yeah. Everyone says, oh, did you cut there? And I was like, no, we didn't cut there. firstly, why would we cut if we didn't need to? Secondly, you can tell it hasn't cut there because the verticals of the door frame are bowed like that, because lenses
Right.
are round and
Yeah.
they bow images if you get too close to them.
Yeah.
And if we had cut there, believe you me, we would have fixed that.
You'd see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, the other thing that's interesting about that as well is that I noticed in, I haven't watched all of Adolescence, but there is a scene where he goes he goes inside and outside quite a lot when he's at home, and I think they've painted like wanker or something on the side of his van. But there's a scene where he then gets in the van and drives,
yeah.
and I assume that they take the camera and literally just take the same camera and sit it on a mount on the front of the van. And then, because he's driving and it's pretty fixed, so you can tell it's fixed on the front of the van. So I assume that they literally, the cameraman walks it out while they're getting on. He's literally just sitting it in some sort of a mount on the van, and then they drive. And then, when you get to the other end, then it's back to, just somebody else picks it up and then carries on with it. But
yeah, there's a couple of ways of doing that. So I'm slightly unusual in the industry because I'm sort of 50% technical, 50% story, which is unusual. People are normally either technical or story. But on the technical side, we love productions like that because we can use all of our toys, all of the toys.
Yeah.
So we can use drones. The grip have a great day because they can wheel people around. They can put mounts on things. Yeah. There's a couple of ways of doing that car shot. So there is a truck that we sort of have that you might see in behind the scenes things in Hollywood where a car is parked on it.
Yeah.
And the camera crew are on a little platform on the back of this truck. The truck is driving. The actor is just doing this. Yeah. And he's not actually steering. But I don't think they used that in this. I think there is some sort of mount on the front of the vehicle. Or the cheap way of doing it is you open. This is probably illegal, but people do it anyway. Is those Land Rovers where they have a door on the boot which stays like that, and you can open the top bit. Yeah. And it folds up like that. Yeah. Your camera guy gets into there and shoots through the back of the Landy while the person behind you is then on camera. Right. Yeah. There's an even cheaper way of doing it. You see, this is why you be an independent filmmaker, right? Independent filmmakers will always know the cheapest way of doing something. Yeah, because they have to. Because they have to. So the very, very cheapest way is a big sheet of green screen with a car, and you get the crew to rock the car. Yeah. So it starts doing this, like this. Yeah. You have to excuse me, my chair is squeaking. It's an actual director's chair that was bought for me. It's so uncomfortable. I've had to put layers of bubble wrap around the arms. Nice. I'm not joking. Because it's just not designed to be sat down in. I heard a rumor, by the way, about a Japanese filmmaker that was so revered that he could sit down anywhere on set and a chair would appear under him. Really? Yeah. I think it was John Woo. I'm not entirely sure. Someone just ran around behind him with a chair all the time. Exactly. Love it. Imagine that. Fantastic. When I worked for the BBC for a very long time, and at one point someone offered me a coffee and I just put my hand out like that because I was so used to a runner just putting a cup of coffee in my hand that my muscle memory was to go. This is just... And that's where I started saying, you look like a real go-getter. Go get me a coffee. You can use that one, David, for free. Love it. I love it. That's great. Yeah. Perfect for the summer interns. Perfect for the summer interns. So cool. Just a little nod to Boiling Point. I am currently wearing the watch that Jason Isaacs. Oh God, he'd hate me. Jason Fleming wore in the film. Right. Boiling Point. I managed to sneak it onto his wrist because he wanted to wear it. He's a real big. Jason Fleming is a real watch guy. Okay. By the way, that Freudian slip there with Jason Isaacs is because Jason Isaacs was supposed to play the Jason Fleming role, and I've got some beef with Jason Isaacs on this now. Right, because Jason Isaacs was supposed to be in Jason Fleming's role. Jason Fleming nailed it, by the way, because he's bloody brilliant. He's brilliant at everything he does. But Isaacs only told us he wasn't coming at the point where we asked him what he was having for lunch on the shoot.
Oh, jeez.
On the first day of filming, what would you like
Right.
for lunch? Actually, guys, I'm not coming. So he just really dropped us in it. And that, of course,
That's outrageous.
Stephen or one of the other guys, I think it was Stephen Graham, rang Jason Fleming and said, Jason, hey, Jason, lad, hey, do us a favour, lad, hey, I got this film, and got Jason Fleming in. And I can't imagine a better actor playing that role of the celebrity TV chef with all these sort of, who's owed 200 grand or something. And, something like that. And just all these
So a bit of serendipity then.
Hugely serendipitous, and what a lovely man he is. Most
So
people
what's
work
the
with
watch
Jason.
then? Since you've brought in the watch.
It's not particularly. This is a German. It's a Leico. It's the watch of the glorious enemy. Unfortunately, it's what the Luftwaffe used to wear in the Second World War.
Right.
It probably shouldn't be on my wrist. My granddad would turn in his grave and bayonet me or something. But yeah, no, it's one of 25 in the world, and I do love it. I can never sell it now because it's in boiling point. We spoke about watches last time because we spoke about James Bond's watch.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Interesting.
I did notice the watch over the weekend, just so everybody knows. We were sitting outside a pub on Saturday afternoon in the sunshine having a drink together. And I was admiring it then.
We never do that, David, do we? We never drink in the
never.
sunshine.
It never happens.
We're always working.
Yeah. So, yeah, you were talking a minute ago about the fact that a lot of films say that they were one shot, but they weren't. I guess the biggest one that everybody knows is 1970.
1970. Now, look, it's not one shot. We know it's not one shot. But what a job they did. They did an amazing job, right?
Is it not one shot?
Like, of course it's not. David, there's a whole scene where they go into a tunnel and it goes to black. And then they come out of the tunnel the other side. If you were going to cut it, that's where you cut it. Right, so I don't know if they ever really claimed it was one shot. I think that was probably the marketing department saying, come on, let's say it's one shot. But of course, they blow things up, right? So it's a lot harder than... the only thing that happened in Boiling Point, nothing blew up, right? It's a lot harder when you're timing explosions and there's, infantry running towards camera. So they did an amazing job. All caps off to them. I mean, obviously they had a huge budget, way beyond the scope of Boiling Point's mere tuppence budget. But yeah, that everyone says it's one shot. It's a good film, and it did very well. Birdman is another one that's supposed to have either very long takes or it's one shot. Alfred Hitchcock made one in 1948 called Rope, and it's edited together to make it look like it's one shot, but it is brilliant and beautiful. And he would never have told anyone that it wasn't, because Hitchcock was a genius of marketing himself. But by the way, I know we were talking about Bond last time. I've got a new pick for who the next Bond actor will be.
Oh yeah, go on then.
Do you know Daniel Heyman and Amy Pascal have taken over the mantle as producers on that show? Right. So they're going to do the next Bond film, right? So Daniel has worked with one particular actor more than once, and it's Timothée Chalamet. And we were talking about this idea that Bond needed to be younger last time because they want to get quite a few films out of him. I mean, who better? I mean, Timothée Chalamet is so strong and powerful at the moment. He has got box office draw. What did he do? He did Dune, didn't he? Did he do Dune? Did he do Willy Wonka?
Yeah, he did Dune, and he's done the Bob Dylan thing.
Dylan, Wonka. Right.
He's a bit floppy-haired, though, for Bond, isn't he?
You just cut his hair, man. I mean, come on. You've got... Look at you. You're a bit floppy.
It has nothing to do with hair length.
Come on. It's going to be... Well, he's not Samson. If you cut his hair, he doesn't lose all his power.
He's not rugged enough.
What can we... Yeah, but he'll just pack on muscle. Didn't you see Stephen Graham in that boxing film that he did recently, that boxing series? He just packed on a whole lot of muscle. Bizarrely and weirdly, he's still got it in Adolescence, and it just looks a bit odd when he flexes his arm, and he's got he's got oranges.
Yeah.
Oranges for biceps. It doesn't... Yeah, that didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty thick. Yeah, that's for sure.
He's a chunky...
Oh, Timothée Chalamet.
Chunky lad.
Okay,
well, they'll make him pack on muscle. Look what they did to Daniel Craig. Did he have that physique before Bond?
Pretty close, but
when he was in Layer Cake, he didn't, though, did he?
Yeah.
Layer Cake is a guy in a white suit.
Yeah.
being very cool. And that film, Layer Cake, definitely got him the Bond film. I'm sure of it. Got him, 100%. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Wonder
That
what
was a
the odds are
massive-
on. Wonder what the odds are on young Timothy at the minute.
Put some money on. That's a massive tangent. Everyone's going to run out and put money on Timothy Chalamet.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be interesting. Of course, the other bit of news, now that we're drifting back to Bond, is that the lady at Amazon who called it content has now left Amazon.
Was it us?
Unsurprised. It must be. It must be.
Yeah, all those 100 people who watched our last podcast.
I can't. 200.
Was
I
it
can't.
200?
Yeah. It's a couple hundred now. I can't imagine why that happened.
Yeah.
I think it was, she would have been fine had not, obviously we weren't the only ones that highlighted that. And that was in pretty much every single story that came out. So, professionally, career-wise, that was probably, she just couldn't take the heat internally.
And we've all said the wrong thing in meetings before, but that's a clanger in front of Barbara Broccoli. Wow.
Yeah.
In front of Barb's. And Michael G. Wilson, was he in the room? He must have been in the room.
I think they were both. I think they were both there. But but it seems they want to do something really quick on that, right? They want to move fast now that they've got it. So I think maybe someone has already. I mean, I'm sure there were a couple of ideas probably in the pipeline already that Barbara had turned down. Do you know what I mean? So they may be going back and revisiting those, or some people have submitted some new ideas. I don't know. I'm not in that world, but I reckon word went around very quickly. If you have an idea, you should submit it. And they're probably working on something.
There's so much lore around Bond, though. I mean, parameters. There are very strict parameters that you have to.
There were
be within. Well, I guess. Yeah. This is the roll of the dice that we now see in front of us.
There were. Wow.
Isn't it funny how little time it took us to get back to talking about James Bond?
I know.
Just a note on Adolescence briefly, just to digress. 66.3 million views that's had worldwide so far. I mean, that's massive. And Phil Barantini's head will be swelling like a melon as we speak. He's not going to be able to wear a hat anymore.
No.
It won't even fit. So good luck to him.
I saw an interesting post about it. I mean, I know it's properly in the zeitgeist at the minute, which is part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it, because it's still, quite big. I saw a post where it was talking about the takes and how many takes it took them to get to get the shots. Now, I'll be curious to know what your impressions were from Boiling Point, but the takes they ended up using, and again, this is Adolescence. Episode 1, they got on take 2. And that was on day 1 of 5.
Yeah. Wow.
And then episode 2 took 13 takes. Episode 3 took 11 takes. Yeah. And episode 4 took 16 takes.
Right. Okay. So that's really interesting. So let me just say, firstly that...
And those were all on the 5th day.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So let me tell you the Boiling Point experience, right? So we were supposed to have 4 filming days and come out with 8 versions of that one shot.
Right.
COVID hit. So we actually only filmed for 2 days. We shot it 4 times. So day 1, I always find it amusing. When you watch the film, I'm sat behind one of the walls praying that everything works, looking at a monitor.
Right.
One of the fake walls. One of the sound guys is posi-drived into another wall, so he's dead if anything happens. And that's Rob, who's on Adolescence. You would have seen him on the. No, that's Kiff. Yeah, Rob was in the toilets. Kiff was behind a wall.
Right.
And you'd have seen Kiff on Top Gear of the Grand Tour, because he's the soundman who pops up. He's only got one arm.
Right.
So I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast.
No.
Yeah, no. And he's in loads of episodes because Clarkson always monkeys around with him. So there's one where he's driving a bus, his arm pops off. Long story. Anyway, he's a lovely man. Did a great job on Boiling Point. They were over 32 microphones on that shoot, crazy. Yeah. And we had to buy extra sound licenses from Ofcom for that, just for that.
Okay.
So we shot it 4 times. Day 1, take 1. It's the first time everyone's doing it, right? You can't expect too much.
Yeah.
And it was good. There were issues with both the technical side and some of the performances, some of the lines that we needed to hit. We did 2 a day. So the second take, which was day 1, evening, it didn't matter whether it was day or night, because the restaurant was quite, there weren't really very many windows, which is brilliant for filmmakers because you can control the light. So day 1 evening, this was a brand new camera into the UK at the moment. This was the Sony Venice. There were only 2 in the UK at the time. The Sony Venice camera is very unusual in that the brain of the camera and the sort of the mount and the lens bit, what I call the head, can detach, and you can have the body at the back where you swap cards and add batteries, and you can have the lens mount at the front with handles and some cables running from front to back, and you can make a rig, a Steadicam style rig, that's small enough to go through doorways, narrow enough to go through doorways and not too high. We had
So
one
the lens
specially
isn't
made.
mounted directly onto the body then?
The lens is attached to a black box, and there's this loom of cables that take the information over your head.
Yeah, got you.
To the brain of the camera
crazy
that
is
is
that?
sat behind.
What's that called? The Sony what?
The Sony Venice. Now, there's another camera now called the Sony Venice 2 where they've advanced some of the color science. It's a long story. Basically, cameras get better. It's like an arm race. You have to constantly keep up. Lenses get better, but lenses you kind of keep. The camera bodies move on. It's a long story. Anyway, so that camera was one of 2 in the UK at the time, right? And the camera plate that takes power from the batteries into the camera stacked on both sides. So you had a V-Lock battery stacked on both sides, right? These big, massive, chunky film batteries, right? One side stopped taking power. So we recorded an hour and a half of black with audio. That was take 2. So by the end of day 1, we had one take that wasn't very good and a second take that didn't work at all. Okay, there we go. That's it. That's what we're talking about. The Sony Venice extension system. That's the Venice 2.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same, but it just has advanced software and color science in it. So if you imagine that cable in the middle, I know, man, it's brilliant. I've got some great photos of Matt Lewis, the DOP, and the focus puller rigging this thing up. If you want to have a look, it's on my Instagram. Alpine Films Limited, I think is my Instagram. The photos, well, you have to scroll down a bit because it was 2019, right? So it's a while ago. They're black and white, taken by an amazing photographer who's also an editor. I think his handle is James on Sharps. I can't quite remember. I'll have to check that. Anyway, he's a lovely guy. Anyway, so by the end of day 1, we had one barely usable take. Right. So day 2 comes along.
Yeah.
Morning, third take. Historically, third takes have always been quite good. It doesn't matter what production you're on, whether you're on a corporate video or some branded content, or you're working with a presenter or an actor or a voiceover artist. The third time they do it is normally the charm. Even I said it on the shoot. Stephen Graham said it on the shoot. So they've run through it twice.
That's going to be the one.
They've slept overnight. They wake up the next morning. The actors came in. The crew came in. The actors absolutely nailed it. I mean, they nailed it. They destroyed it, right? They did a great job. It was a roller coaster ride. Brilliant. The camera crew did a very, very good job. The camera crew were fussy as hell. They weren't quite happy with what they'd done because they felt it could be better.
Yeah.
So we did a 4th take, day 2. Technically excellent. Camera work, brilliant. Sound quality, brilliant. Lighting, brilliant. Blah, blah, blah. All those good things. Crew, very, very happy. The actors were exhausted. So the take we went for, and the one that you see, is take 3, day 2, first take. And that is the advice I would have given to adolescents. Don't do 2 a day. Do 1 a day, right? Because it's a lot. Everyone gets tired. So what I think happened on Adolescence is everybody was just getting more and more tired. as that shoot went along. And shoots can be long days. You know, when I was Channel 4, BBC, ITV, we could do, you know, 18, 22-hour days, something like that. You used to do, you know, you do 10 days, you might do 10 days in a row, and then you sleep for a day, and then you get back on it, you know, whatever you wanted to do.
But that's
so
different.
I think they got more time. And also,
Yeah.
the technical challenge on Adolescence is bigger than the technical challenge on Boiling Point, because Adolescence has drones, cars, everything else. So there's a lot of moving parts there. They've all got to be talking together, talking to each other. Everyone in that chain has to be on their game, and they're working with children.
Yeah.
And when you're working with children, you have to have special consideration for those children.
Yeah.
They also can't miss their schooling. This is if a child is on a film set, they still have to do their lessons.
Yeah.
So there's all of these other safeguarding things that come with that.
And the teenage boy that was in it was not an actor. And that was something that Stephen Graham had said very clearly, that he didn't want an actor to play the boy. He wanted kind of a normal kid to play that part, because he wanted it to feel more raw than kind of having a polished, you know, even a young person who'd been, you know, in drama classes and all that. He wanted something that was a bit more rough around the edges.
It's interesting.
So I suspect, I have a theory about this as well. I think, so episode 1, it's the first day of shooting. You get the second take, you do the practice take the first time. And almost like you said, it's almost like take 3, right? Who knows how long
I think you record everything. I think you've got to record everything. I don't think there is no practice take.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the second time they were like, yeah, that's great, we got it. Then what this looks like to me is that then they started getting real picky about it. They were just glad to get the first one in, right? So they're like, yes, we got it. That's good enough. We'll take it. And then 4 days later, they tried the next episode. So they obviously did a bunch of technical work. They probably, you know, they did loads.
They had to change locations and stuff like that. So, Boiling Point was one location, right? So
I think, is it episode 3 that's in the school? I think that might have been the one that I saw where they were in some, school, it seems like a school classroom or something that they were in, with the woman who's interviewing him about his, you know, sort of his state of mind, I think. And that's the one that I saw. And again, you know, it's very, very tight. It's one room. You know, there's one cameraman, the kid, and this woman, and, you know, and they're just kind of going through, and it's literally just the cameraman kind of moving around the outside,
in a
you know, just to, and that's it. So there wasn't much blocking to it. There wasn't much, you know, to do really. The scenes where there's a lot of activity seem to be the ones with Stephen and the actors in it. So I think, do you know what I mean? I think they were trying to make it easier on the kid as well, by not having them have to do too much physical activity at the same time as remembering his lines and doing all the other stuff that went with it. So rehearsing for something like that, how long did it take for Boiling Point? Like how long did you rehearse? Was it the same as a normal film, or was it different?
I think it was 2 weeks.
Right, that's
I
it.
mean, Phil would be better answering that than me, because, you know, they didn't want to have too many people there when they were working with the actors. Because I tell you what, though, the whole stage, I mean, I think it's remarkable that they used a child who hadn't acted before, because we needed actors who'd done stage and screen. And during the auditions, Phil threw in an improv element that the actors didn't know was going to happen. So I think we had them delivering their lines, and then a sous chef bursts through the door and says, "Right, I want four egg and bacon, table 2, or whatever, you know, 3 sides of this." And if they responded well and they went with it, then it kind of worked for them. But that's remarkable if they used an actor, a child who hadn't acted before.
Yeah.
Wow, he did a great job. Well, did he do a great job? I know you've heard to the contrary. I won't name and shame who said that, but anyway.
I think some people are divided on the actual, you know, the acting craft. If you're being critical, but that's not the. I think they used the single shot because they wanted to add some tension to it. Maybe that only that single shot could bring.
Well, it makes you feel quite real, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a documentary feel to a single shot, which again we come back to that whole documentary thing. What did Phil Barantini's part of the script writing? Was that his real life that he'd seen? I think it probably was, that he'd observed, and then the one shotness makes it feel even more real. But what we did on BP, on Boiling Point, was the shots in the restaurant area where the guests are smooth and long and floating, and the shots in the kitchen area are jerky and stressful and rapid and moving, and that was very, very few people will notice that, but it's just another little thing that helps build the tension. So one shot filmmaking builds tension because the crew are tense.
Yeah.
The actors want it to work. Everybody wants it to work. Yeah. So the tension that you're feeling is partly because it's real and it's difficult, and it's partly the wonderful performances of the actors.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed,
they are not.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed when I watched it was, and I wasn't really, I don't think I wasn't watching it in film critic mode. I was just I was just watching it to enjoy it.
That's good. Yeah. That's a good sign.
That's a good way to approach it. Yeah. But I did notice that there were distinct scenes and how it would hand off from one character to the next. And so you'd have sort of, Stephen would be in the kitchen or whatever, and he'd be talking, and then he'd hand it off to a sous chef, I guess, and then she'd walk away and then go off to another and then talk to someone else. And then it was like their scene. And then Stephen was sort of out of the picture. And, sort of, and I didn't know if that was, like maybe it gives him a break or whatever. So he's kind of lurking around, just waiting till the next bit to come in.
Oh, yeah. He was learning his lines. He's terrible. He's got no memory. No, I'm joking.
And they were all doing that. But it was this nice little flow of handoff. And I think the other thing is that I used to work service in restaurants before. So I know what it's like in a kitchen during a service. And I also know what it's like working the floor. Yeah. And so it did feel real. I was like, that's pretty much what it feels like, when you're working. So that was the good bit about it, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, our kitchen is like that though. It is handed off. So it's ordered by somebody who comes into the kitchen, places the order. The chef makes it, the sous chef gets his orders, then it comes back, then it's got to go back to the waiter, then it's got to go back to the person at table 6. Oh, table 6 doesn't like the beef goes back. It's a chain of people, isn't it? Which kind of works for that one shot concept.
Did I tell you?
Well, doesn't it?
Did I tell you about when I went to France with my mom?
Yeah.
we went out to eat.
It's funny already. Why is this funny already?
So you just think, yeah, okay, here we go. And we were in Paris and we went out to eat, and I don't remember, we were at some like bistro, and I can't remember what my mom ordered, but basically she wanted the sauce on the side, sort of like a steak Diane, but she wanted the sauce on the side. And so I'd said to her already, I said, look, please don't, they're just going to bring it as it comes. Don't ask them to put the sauce on the side. Because she'd already said to me, oh, do you think they can do it? I went, no, they're not going to do it. She's like, of course, they'll just put it on the side. And I'm like, no, they won't. And all you'll do is make them angry.
That's a culture crash. That's such a culture clash.
Yeah. And she was like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I was just like, oh my God. And so of course, I ordered my thing, and then she ordered her thing, and she ordered, she said, can you put the sauce on the side? And the waiter looked at me like, what the fuck? And I literally was just, I just gave him my best, I'm really sorry face, and just kind of shook my head and was like, and just kind of looked embarrassed generally, hoping that they wouldn't do something to her food. And of course they brought it out, and it was as it should be, right, with the sauce on. And she was going to start to complain, and I'm like, please, for the love of God, do not complain.
Say nothing.
Just
did you give her a look?
Just eat the steak, okay? It's not going to hurt you. It's going to taste amazing. Just please have it the way it is.
That's funny.
I was just like, oh my God.
In a French restaurant, in a bistro. Oh my
in
god!
Paris.
In Paris.
Like,
In
anyway,
Paris. Wow.
it was fine. It was fine. She didn't get
Wow.
food poisoning, so everything
Yeah,
was all right at the end.
that's
And
such a lovely
they
story.
probably charged
And
us extra,
and
but
that's,
whatever.
that these little wonderful cultural differences are what makes us, having awareness of those is just brilliant, isn't it? I mean, you only
Yeah,
get that through travel. You only get that through travel. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
luckily, because I lived over here, I was able to sort of get her out of the US and,
Mm,
to have an excuse to
yeah,
travel and
yeah,
to go to France with her and to,
yeah,
show her the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower and, the Arc de Triomphe and all that sort of stuff that most
yeah.
Americans never see.
What a lovely
And,
experience. Yeah.
when they
Mm,
do, they only ever see it on TV
mm.
and they never
Or,
get,
or or in Vegas. I mean, you can see
yeah,
all that
well,
stuff.
yeah,
It's there. Why
many,
bother? You can just go
yeah,
to Vegas.
exactly.
What's the
Exactly.
difference, right? It's
It's
probably better.
cleaner.
It's
It's
cleaner.
cleaner.
Yeah, Vegas is clean. It's better lit.
Better lit. Yeah.
Oh dear, that's funny. Oh,
Have you
it's
been to Vegas?
no, no. I really want to go, but
You've got to go.
it's quite expensive to get over there. I don't
You've
know.
got to go. It's
I was hoping my mate Stag Do would be there, but no.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's I think everybody should go once in their life.
yeah. It's like a scene from The Fall of Man, though, isn't it? It's like
It,
the pinnacle of our human idiocy before the planet eats us.
well, do you know
Yeah,
what? It used to be.
right.
And
That's
I've
interesting.
seen a lot of stuff recently, a lot of press that it's basically dying right now. That
Oh,
it's got really
that's
expensive
interesting.
because it used to be really cheap because all the casinos basically
Comped
subsidized
everything.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So all the food was cheap, drinks were
Mm,
basically free.
mm,
As long as you're on the floor
mm,
gambling,
mm.
they'll bring you free drinks. So if you're
Yeah.
sitting at a fruit machine or whatever and you're just
Mm,
playing or you're at the blackjack table, literally they will just keep bringing you free drinks.
mm, mm.
The other weird thing is you can smoke indoors in the casino as long as you're gaming.
That's not going to work, is it, in the
So you
modern
can
world?
literally sit with cigarettes inside and
Yeah,
there, but you would never know anyone smoking in there. The
because no
filtration
ventilation,
systems
really.
are insane.
Is it like sitting in a vertical wind tunnel where it just you're in a
Pretty
massive
much.
Hoover and there's just cigarette
Like
smoke going vertically into the ceiling?
like I have no idea how they did. I wouldn't, and
Wow.
I'm just guessing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have it in like really small zones. So
Mm,
if like one person is sitting smoking, they probably just turn that zone on
yeah,
and it literally just sucks everything straight up and out
yeah.
before it even has a
Like that
chance to.
Marilyn Monroe scene where she's crossing an airlift.
Exactly.
Suddenly your
Yeah,
hair just goes up like that.
exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
But and this isn't years ago. This was when I was there 2 or 3 years ago for CES.
Mm.
There were people smoking.
Yeah,
The other
no,
thing
that's
that's
so weird.
weird,
I mean, I went into a restaurant in Germany and people were smoking in there. I was like, "Get me out of here now," because it was just so horrendous.
but it's so weird that
But
we've like it's been so quick because that used to be everywhere. Like if you went in any
yeah,
restaurant, even if they had a smoking section, which was hilarious because you
mm,
could be at one table and the smoking section was just the next table
the
next
next
to you,
table.
right? There was no wall,
Well,
and I know because I used to smoke. So I smoked for nearly 20 years.
mm,
And
it's good
I
for your
remember
company.
when you could smoke on airplanes. That's how old I am.
So that's crazy. I mean, I remember I did a ski season in the Italian Alps. Sorry, in 2010 I was a skiing cameraman, and in the nightclub, rather than having a non-smoking nightclub, they had a room you could smoke in,
Right.
right? Which was like death. I mean, honestly, I don't think there was any ventilation in there at all. You just opened
Yeah.
the door. You
Yeah.
took 5 years off your life, and you shut the
Yeah.
door again, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So there've been different approaches to that over the years. I'm really glad it's gone. I'm
Yeah.
really glad.
Well, you never
Um,
smoked, did you?
no, no,
Yeah. See,
very,
that's,
very
yeah.
healthy parents, very healthy outlook on life.
Yeah. That's good.
Um,
That's good.
so
There used to be a bar in Richmond called Paradise One, and
mm,
Paradise One would get so smoky. So this is back the early 2000s,
mm,
and you could still smoke in the inside. It would get so smoky inside that the smokers would go outside to have a cigarette.
that's mad. I mean, I remember going to Ronnie Scott's in Birmingham, and
Yeah.
the air was like pea soup.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. 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 It's just crazy
Mm,
how
mm.
things change. Yeah.
I mean, in the original, just going back to Bond briefly, in the original novels, there are descriptions of what kind of tobacco he likes. But Bond was weird because Bond brought American commercialism into novels and this joy of product into the novels, and obviously in the films as well. But there's long descriptions of what kind of tobaccos he likes, what kind of whiskies, where, I think there's some stuff about where he buys his clothes. It was that moment where commercialism just started to rise up a little bit, and it's just reflected in the novels. But there's one scene where I think he even explains the blend of tobaccos.
Right.
So you go to a tobacconist,
Yeah.
scoop out a particular blend.
Yeah.
And there's a coffee shop just like that in Soho. There's the oldest coffee house in London, where all the coffees are like along the walls in bags, and you scoop them out. And it reminds me of that bit. Anyway,
Really, is it still there?
it's still there. I think it's called the Algerian Coffee House. It's £1.50 for a coffee, and it's amazing. But
That's
what they really
awesome.
want you to do is buy a bag and take it home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was in Cambridge. Speaking of old places, I was just in Cambridge last week and ran across the oldest bookstore. So
Wow.
it's been an active bookstore selling books since 1580. On that
That's amazing.
on that one corner.
Wow.
It's literally been an
And
operating
Amazon
bookstore.
didn't kill it. That's
know.
incredible.
I know.
Bezos, you didn't get this one, did you? Eh?
Exactly.
Wow. Have you seen any good films lately? I've been watching. I watch a lot of TV and film, but my tastes are a little different. I think I've been watching some foreign language stuff with subtitles, which I know some people don't like, but
I love that. I love it. And I love watching, my wife and I watch a lot of like Nordic noir type stuff.
yeah,
And I really enjoy watching that. But all the foreign stuff I watch, I always watch it in its native language
of course,
with
you've
English
got to.
subtitles.
You've got to, yeah.
Because you have to hear it. Because even though you don't understand the words that they're saying, you still get from the intonation and everything else. You get
And
the
it's a
feel
learning experience.
from it.
Sometimes you learn a few
Yeah.
words. I came away. I watched this entire Dutch Flemish odyssey of crime. Drug crime. It was actually pills. They were making ecstasy pills in Holland, in
Right.
southern Holland, which apparently is a thing. You have a tulip farm at the front and a massive.
X farm at the back.
Yeah, you have a massive ecstasy farm at the back. Who knew? And then you can probably that's a logistical marry up there. When you're delivering your tulips, you can get rid of the ecstasy across Europe as well.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, ecstasy dealers of southern Holland.
Southern Holland.
Yeah, so it's called Undercover, which is an undercover policeman trying to take down a drug kingpin called Ferry Bauman.
Right.
Sorry, that sounds a little Arnie there. I didn't mean it to be. And there's so that's quite a good series. But there's also a prequel, a sequel, and 2 films that have come out of this character. And the best one by far is called Ferry, and it's a TV series, and it's brilliant. It's not one shot. It has no relevance to what we're currently talking about. But if you're going to watch it, it is good. And Ferry is such a lovable rogue. He is a drug dealer. He is a bad guy. But he's also very human, and it's just such a lovely. And then yesterday I watched something called Counterattack, which is a Mexican. I think it's Mexican. Apologies if it's not. It's in Spanish, and it is a action movie. So basically, it is an off-duty squad of kind of special forces guys are off. Got a couple of days off. They're celebrating the youngest one's birthday, and some drugs cartel just tries to take them out while they're on their day off, which is not on really. If a day's off, a day off is a day off. So rather than tequilas in the sunshine, they're mowing down bad guys. It's very good. You've got to watch foreign content. I remember when we had Boiling Point on Netflix, it was in first position. Another one of our films, A Violent Man, was third in the films, and the second was this a film called Black Crab, I think it was called, and it was brilliant. It was a foreign language sci-fi stroke action film, which involved a team of elite special forces guys ice
Right.
skating across a frozen fjord so they could take out a building or something like that. And I remember watching it thinking,
Okay.
this is so good. This is so bizarre and really good as well. So I think it's
Interesting.
called Black Crab. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
think,
you got to get down with foreign movies. They're really good, and foreign television series.
yeah, no, I
Walter
love
Presents. Yeah.
Walter Presents is a excellent. And for
Yeah.
people not in
What a
the
guy.
UK, you don't know what we're on about, but there's this. Is it a series? I don't know what you would call
Ah,
it.
well,
It's a. What would you
this was
call
a
Walter Presents?
this was a whole new concept. He
Yeah.
was
Is
Walter's
Walter
a
a
real
person?
guy. Yeah, he's
Right.
a
Okay.
real guy. He went off and he watched hundreds of hours of content. He watched hundreds of hours of foreign language TV shows and films, and
Right.
he compiled all of the best ones into the Walter Presents kind of sub brand of Channel Four. Was it Channel Four?
Yeah. Channel
Yeah,
4.
Channel Four, and almost like he curated them. He curated. That's the right word. He curated
Yeah.
this
That's right.
Channel
Yeah.
4 content. Everything on there was good. Oh, brilliant. Sicilian crime dramas about fighting the
Yeah.
mafia.
Yeah.
You know, Scandi Noir. There was one called, what was that one? There was a Belgian, was it Belgian? There was one called Salamander, which
Yeah.
was all about a crime that harks back to something that happened in the Second World War. And then there was
Right.
something called Blaue Augen, which means blue eyes. I always sound
Right.
like Arnie when I do these. What's going on? Get to the chopper. You know, it's that wasn't Arnie wasn't in that one. So Blaue Augen, I think is a. Oh, this is terrible. This is the problem with British people. We think all Scandinavian countries are the same, and they're really not. Denmark, Sweden. I think that was
No.
Swedish. I'm going to go Swedish on that one. And it was about, there's a political kind of crime intrigue. So
How do
good.
you find?
Walter Presents.
Um,
Don't know. Is it still around? I think it is still around.
it is. Yeah. It's still
Yeah.
on. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah. It's probably the best, and that's where we find all our Nordic noir, and
Well,
because they had Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and they had The Bridge, and they
yeah,
had
yeah.
what's the
Wallander.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wallander. What's the political one about the prime minister?
Borgen?
Borgen.
Borgen?
Yeah, Borgen as well. Yeah, all of that. I was just what I've been looking at. Sorry, I've been slightly distracted because I was pulling up my Netflix list to see some of the stuff that I've been watching lately. Zero Day. Have you seen Zero Day?
I started watching it and I stopped. And I can't remember why I stopped. Something about it didn't ring true. This
Interesting.
is the problem with me, is that if I see bad acting or I see a set that's clearly a set,
Yeah.
it throws me out, or a ridiculous plot line, or something a character wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I probably drive people crazy, but I'll start watching something and be like, no, rubbish, next. And if people can't get the first scene right, if people can't get the first shot to be a good shot, why should I watch it?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm
fair
terrible.
enough.
I'm the wrong person to ask some of these questions because
Have you
I'll tell you
watched
what.
Squid Game?
Squid Game, yes, I did watch Squid Game. Yeah, very much enjoyed it.
Squid
On
Game's
the subject of Squid Game,
Yeah.
there are two films. I think they're South Korean. Let's say they're South Korean. Peninsula and Last Train to Busan. Last Train to Busan, is it? And they are they're zombie films, and they're absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And if Google them quickly, David, just to make sure I've got the right titles on those, because the filmmaker's probably turning in their grave somewhere, and they're not even dead.
What is it? Last
Train to Busan or Peninsula. There's one's a sequel to the other, right? And there's zombie apocalypse films, but I think they're set in South Korea. And the brilliance of Last Train to Busan is that it's on a train, right? So zombies are on the train, zombies are trying to get on the train. It's just a lovely... remember I said, I don't know if I've ever said this to you, but if you make a genre film, you have to move the genre on, right? So you need to do something new with it. Otherwise, it's just the same old film that everyone's seen before. So if you make a zombie film, there has to be something new in it.
Right.
And what they had new was a train, and it's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
Last Train to Busan. Yeah. That is
You
the name
found
of it.
Is it? What
Train
year
to
did that come
Busan,
out?
and then Last Train. Is it Train to Busan?
I think it's Train to Busan, and the sequel I think is called Peninsula.
Right, got ya.
Does it say a sequel? Does it say that there's a sequel
I'm
there?
looking.
I mean, if you're a zombie guy, you got to watch these films. You got to watch them.
I mean, Peninsula comes up with the IMDb search, so yeah, I assume that they're probably
Connected in
related.
some way. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll look on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Soul
I
Station.
mean,
Yeah, however, the sequel Peninsula, yeah.
so which is the first one? Is it Train to Busan?
Yeah,
Right. Nice. Watch it.
yeah.
You heard it here first. It's probably millions of years old now, isn't it? Yeah.
So they have Train to Busan, Seoul Station. So, and then
Seoul
Train to
is as in-
Busan presents Peninsula.
Yeah, that's it. Right. So
And then
Peninsula
there's-
must be second.
And then there's Last Train to New York, apparently coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
And an untitled Peninsula sequel.
Wow. Well,
Apparently.
they have been busy.
So yeah, so there was a Seoul Station as well in between Peninsula and Train to Busan. Anyway, sorry, this is quite inside baseball for people listening.
Yeah, no. If they don't care about zombies, they don't care about this. They've tuned off. They've got better things to do. I can't believe they're listening anyway. So
We may have lost them by now.
someone asked me what my favourite film was the other day. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. The Legend of 1900. Did I talk to you about this?
You have mentioned it before, yeah.
Did we mention it on the podcast?
No.
No. Right. Legend of 1900 is a film that I loved when I was a kid, and it's a Tim Roth epic. It's about a boy that's born on a cruise ship, right, crossing the Atlantic. Anyway, I've always felt it had a strong sort of Italian element to it, and of course it does, because either I've forgotten and I'm now re-remembering, or I looked it up and I never knew and I know now. The director made Cinema Paradiso, which was one of the greatest Italian films of all time, Giuseppe Tornatore. So it makes total sense that The Legend of 1900 would be a good Italianate classic, you know.
It's 8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of it, man. I mentioned this film and film guys are like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Mm-hmm. I get what? With Tim Roth? Mm? They're like, yeah, watch it. It's great. Really
Interesting. You can, for anybody who wants to go and see it, it's on Amazon.
How much is it? Do you have to pay for it on Amazon?
I don't know. Let me see.
So there, a lot of these models of these platforms might be changing, you know.
$4.99.
Yeah, because there's something called SVOD, which is subscription video on demand, and there's advertising video on demand, AVOD. A lot of them are going to move to AVOD because they're not making enough money.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff I watch at the minute, because I'm doing like so many shows and all that sort of stuff, I kind of get almost burned out on it. So what I end up watching is kind of whatever my wife is watching. So it's like Married at First Sight, you know, all that sort of stuff that's on. We end up watching that, and then just having commenting on that amongst ourselves and stuff. It's not too often that we.
I mean, I actually went to the cinema the other day. I went to see Mickey 13. But
oh yeah, how was that?
Well, I only got 3/4 of the way through because the adverts at the beginning were so long, and then the trailers, that I was going to be late for a meeting with two producers who were making this wonderful film called A Vampire, Blood and Ink that I'm trying to help them raise money for.
Right.
So I watched 3/4 of it. It cost me £20 to go to the cinema in Odeon, Leicester Square, and the screen was tiny. I felt robbed.
See, that's another thing we could probably talk about, which is it feels to this is the same. So I think film in theaters is in the same death spiral that pubs are in the UK. In that,
Deep.
what happens is because fewer people are going to see the films, they have to raise the price of everything to make up for the fewer people coming.
Right.
Which then means that even fewer people come because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
That they then have to raise the price. So it's just this death spiral. It's the
just a
same with
ridiculous thing
pubs.
to do. They should definitely not do that, right? So cinema, they should make it almost free and sell them loads of popcorn, because popcorn, the markup on popcorn must be.
That's where they make their money anyway.
Yeah.
I reckon. So but it's the same with pubs, right? Pubs, it's the same thing. they want people in there. Like they make more money and pubs are more attractive if they're full and your mates are there and people want to go, but they keep raising prices
The
and then
price of
half the
beer
people can't
now.
afford to go anymore.
Yeah.
So then because they're half empty, then they have to charge more and then fewer people come and they charge more and fewer people come and then they go out of business. And, you know,
But
it's,
they do. The thing about that is they seem to be doing it to themselves, which I can't quite understand. I mean, I know there's duty from the government, but they do it to themselves. And when they look around, there's no young people in the pub. They're just going to die out. I mean, all the young people are at Witherspoons. Because, you know, Witherspoons is, you know, the retired and the young and me and everyone in between. me eating ham, egg and chips for £1, you know. Anyway.
It's, well, there's a whole argument about that as well. You know, and how Witherspoon stays in business compared to all the other pubs and everything else. When you look at the, you know, at the prices and you just kind of go, well, obviously that works somehow. Now, I suspect that, do you know if they actually buy the locations that they go into? So is it a real estate play where they're actually just buying the real estate so they don't really care about the...
I've heard many different things about this. I have heard that the buildings that they go into, no one else wants them because they're too big.
Yeah. Because they get all the old theaters and cinemas and stuff.
They'll get the leases really cheap.
Yeah.
Or they'll buy the building really cheap. I know they probably own some and rent others, but they all got, I mean, the guy who runs Witherspoons, who owns it, he's quite a vocal guy, you know, claims that he built this amazing business. It wasn't him. He built it initially and then it fell apart and the coal board reinvested in it, restructured it and sold it back to him, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he'll never admit that.
No.
Because, you know, he's too busy supporting reform.
Yeah. I think there may be some films coming out that I want to see coming up, so I may actually go to the cinema to see some films.
I tell you what, why don't we go to the cinema together, watch a film, and then do a podcast about it?
And then do a podcast about it.
Right.
So are we going to start doing film reviews then?
Let's do a podcast. Let's go to the cinema. Let's go to one of those ones that serves alcohol because, you know, you got to keep these engines moving.
Yeah.
We need the heavy oil to keep these, you know, ancient engines need to keep moving, man. That's how it works. Anyway, so we'll go and watch something, and then we'll do a podcast about it, and we'll be like...
So we're going to be the modern day Siskel and Ebert then?
Well, there we go. I think at this point in the movie, I really liked it, but I'd had 3 pints, so I had no idea what was going on. And we can just do it that way.
And you'll go, at this point in the movie, I was going to walk out and Dave stopped me from leaving.
Because I haven't paid my bill.
Because they did some stupid fucking thing with the...
Yeah. Have you ever walked out of a film at the cinema?
I've never walked out of a film in the cinema.
I have. I walked out of a film once. It was so bad I left.
When I go, though, I don't... This is going to sound terrible, but very rarely do I go to actually see the film. It's more just about going to the cinema.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand at all what you've just said. I don't... You... Wait, so...
Like half the time when I go, like my son wants to see Transformers, so we take him to see Transformers. So I'm at the cinema, not because I want to see Transformers, because I want to take my son to the cinema.
I thought...
Or my wife wants to go see something, so we go because, like, I don't just...
You want to go
like
with her
the last thing was Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I wanted to see Lord of the Rings. I mean, we went and saw, because, you know, there was all this talk about it. And, you know, when Peter Jackson's version came out and we went and saw the first one, and I think everybody that watched that went, holy shit, this is exactly what I had imagined my whole life.
Yeah, that's what I
this
imagined.
To look like. Yeah. So I was excited about the next couple of films when they came out. I was less excited about The Hobbit, if I'm honest, because like, why is The Hobbit 3 films? It's the tiniest little book. Like there's... Anyway, I get it. I know why he did it, but it didn't need to be
even more money that he had already.
Yeah, it just needed to be a short, sharp.
Good. Yeah,
but you could have moved that along. You could edit that down into a 2.5 hour film.
That's not how the movie industry works, my friend. If they can rinse more money out of people and make a 3-parter, they'll make a 3-parter. Believe you me.
Have you ever watched? Have you ever watched The Curse of Oak Island?
No. What's that?
Okay, it's this TV show.
I'm getting chills.
It's this TV show. There's supposed to be some treasure buried on this island in Canada, right?
Right.
That's the show, and
Oh no!
they're trying to find the treasure.
I think I have seen an episode of this.
It is 50% of every episode at least is them rehashing the same shit that they've talked about for 9 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like literally in a 43-minute episode, right? There's
15 minutes of
probably
new happens.
15, 20 minutes of something that's worthwhile.
Wow.
And I keep threatening to like take all of last season, download the episodes and edit them myself into one episode that's probably 2 hours long. But you get all the stuff that happened without all this. So it would be like, for those of you who've been watching it for years, here's what happened last year. And they don't have to go back and go, the Curse of Oak Island is this treasure that was built in, buried in the 1700s, and they found this thing, and it's like, oh my God.
So I think maybe they're having to fill that much because they find nothing because there's no treasure there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing happens.
I mean, it's an archaeological dig at this point. So we're seeing a live archaeological dig, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But
does that make good TV? A man digging in the sand?
Not really.
I do not think so.
Not really.
Yeah.
But we desperately, I just think it would be funny if they did find something, even one bag of coins. Like if they find, they go in with their big thing and they pull it out and they go, hey, there's a box and there's 50 gold coins in there, and it's like that's all they get.
The only problem is they spent £500,000 finding this bag of coins that's worth £100,000
and the rest. Yeah. But God only knows how much they've made from, the TV show probably funds the dig.
Yeah, I bet it does.
At this point. But it's like the number, it's like in the top 10 rated shows in the US.
Wow.
Believe it or not. It's crazy. Anyway.
There's one on Netflix now, isn't there, about Forrest, this bloke called Forrest who thought he was dying, who thought he had kidney failure or something. So he buried a treasure in the woods.
I don't know.
This is in somewhere in America, in the middle of America, and he buries his treasure in the woods. And then he got better. Turns out, his cancer went away or something.
Right.
And he's like, oh.
But he can't find it.
Yeah, no, he knows where it is, but it turned into a big media sensation in America, and all these people trying to find it, falling off.
That I've been like, he can't figure out where it is. And then he had to put out he set up a contest for whoever can find it. He'll give them a portion of it if they can just find it.
Yeah,
that would have been funnier.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Cool. All right. Film reviews.
Oh no, let's do that. That would be so much fun. I've got a couple of films that I'm sort of working on at the moment that I'm very, very excited about. Arctic Skies. Did I mention that, the UFO one?
Yeah, go on. Do your pitch for people
for Arctic Skies.
The ones you're raising for at the minute.
Arctic Skies is going to be great. So Arctic Skies is two pilots in a cargo plane based on a true story of these two Japanese pilots that flew over the Arctic. They're flying over the Arctic, everything starts to go wrong. So the first thing that happens is they're radioed by an air traffic control tower, and the air traffic control tower says, there's a passenger plane in front of you. There are close to 200 souls on board. We can't reach them. So the tension just ramps from that moment. And it's made by a great team. It's Elliot and Xander Weaver, who are these two brothers who made a UFO film called Cosmos that was on Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And they made it for about 50 pence, and they shot it in their dad's Volvo or something like that. And it's actually good. Yeah. Right? So if you're a sci-fi guy, find Cosmos. The next film we're trying to raise 1.2 million for that, which sounds like a lot. Again, it's nothing compared to US budgets.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be epic. I won't tell you too much about what happens, but from that moment on, these two pilots on their own in a cargo plane over the Arctic can't land, can't communicate, they can't leave, and just stuff starts to go wrong, and it's just brilliant. And we're hoping, very much hoping, that we get the actors that have said that they want to do it, which is one of them from Rings of Gold, actually.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Morphy.
Who plays Galadriel? Yeah, Morphy Clark. So she's very up for it. And the other one's Aaron I always forget Aaron's surname, but he's also a very, very good actor. He's been in loads of stuff. Is it Barane? Anyway, I can't remember his surname.
Something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, he's very, very good. So we got that one, and then we've got this massive £10 million vampire film, which is about the first ever vampire book that was written.
Right.
So I can't believe no one's made a film about this. This is John Polidori, who wrote the first vampire film.
Okay.
And he subsequently, I think he goes mad and commits suicide or something. That's the real story.
Right.
And we've woven in the Dracula and vampire characters start to appear to him in real life, because he was there was a lot of opium going on back then, so I think he was a bit of an opium addict as well. So yeah, got that one going on.
Cool.
Got a load of low budget, under 250k films that one of the producers I work with is working on. So yeah, it's good. It's a busy time. Yeah. And one of my mates has asked me to help him film. He's driving his Land Rover across Morocco with a whole lot of other Land Rovers on some kind of epic rally. So I'm involved.
When is that due to
out
start?
how to film that. It's April, some point in late April. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Soon, really soon. Yeah.
Does he have his truck ready yet?
No. I wish I could say yes, but no. Which makes better viewing, obviously, because this stuff will go out on YouTube at some point. But he's going with his son. It's not even ready yet. Yeah, and not only are we filming it, he's got to get it to Morocco. So he's got to drive all the way through. This is an old ex-army Land Rover. I think it's called a Wolf. And he's got to get across the UK, down through France, through Spain, ferry to Morocco. And that's before the adventure even starts, before the actual...
So there's a good chance it's going to just die on the way and he'll never even make it.
There's a very good chance he may not even start it at this rate. But hey-ho, these are the crazy things that people do.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, it's been great chatting to you, David.
So we will decide on a film that we want to go and watch, and then we will report back.
Even that decision is interesting, isn't it? What do we go and see without looking like a couple?
Whatever, I don't even give a shit.
Yeah.
What is... There's one coming out.
So hold on a minute. You didn't even go to the cinema to see the new Star Wars films when they started coming out.
I saw...
Or the James Bond film, or June or June 2. You didn't see those films at the cinema.
I did actually go to Dune, yeah.
You went
and
to
I went to Dune too.
Both Dunes.
Yeah. I went to Dune.
You've gone up in my estimation, so,
I went to Dune. Because I was curious, because obviously we'd all seen the 80s version with Sting in it and all that, which was
bringing the floating fat man.
Exactly.
Brian Harkonnen comes floating in.
Which I kind of liked it, but I was kind of like, I just didn't know what to expect. And I was hoping that it was going to be as it turned out.
Yeah, it's Villeneuve, wasn't it, that one?
But I love what he did, because I read a story about how he got the feel. So he recorded I don't know if you know this story, but he recorded digitally. So he used digital cameras. Then they took the digital, they printed it to film.
Right.
And then they re-scanned the film back in to digital, which is why it has that film, the actual film quality of it.
That's just mental.
And so, because he couldn't get the effect that he wanted digitally, so they literally printed it to physical film.
Then? Who's going to...
Because I think it was easier to control everything digitally to get it in, to get it right.
If you're also filming in a desert, that brings up its own problems.
Yeah.
It's stand in the film and check the gate and all that kind of stuff.
All that. But apparently that was the process, because he wanted to have the actual film feel to it, and he couldn't get it, even though there's loads of tools, that are supposed to do that, But no, so that was the process. So I was really curious to see what it looked like, which is why it has that kind of old school feel to it.
Right, yeah. It's
and
a beautiful
I think
looking film. I mean, both of them are.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, he did a great job.
I've watched it a few times, actually.
And back to young Chalamet, I think he did a really good job.
And the score, the sound on that.
It's good.
All of that wailing in the desert, and the Harkonnen army with the kind of guttural kind of Viking sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
Amazing.
very close, I think, to, I mean, I read the books back when I was a teenager,
Oh, I read them as well, actually. Yeah.
you know, and I've read probably 6 or 7 of them along the way.
Oh,
There's something like 20 books now altogether. There's a shit ton of them, but
ridiculous.
I know, but I certainly knew kind of the, you know, I knew the story in it, but he gave it the what's now called the Peter Jackson treatment, isn't it really? Of really bringing it to life. And I think of what most people had in their mind, he was able to get on film, you know, the sheer scale and the scope of it, you know, and all of it. So yeah, no.
Do you know, I mean, Dune, so the original Dune books are supposed to, there's a whole school of thought that thinks they're about oil in the desert, and they are basically a description of all of the wars in the Middle East. You know,
Yeah.
with the Atreides being, I'm not sure who the Atreides would be, but you know, the Harkonnens could easily be the Russians, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, that
a bit harsh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And,
but no, that was
spice
good.
is supposed to be oil, and you know,
Right.
yeah. And there's words that have come out of those books that didn't exist and are now used. I think if you look up canly in the Oxford English Dictionary, it means to be in a state of war without knowing you're in a state of war, which is quite interesting. Oh, and the other thing that I heard was, do you remember there was some evil computer virus that went around a few years ago, sort of in the 90s, called Sandworm?
Right. Okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I
That's
don't
from
remember
Dune.
Sandworm.
I
No.
think the guys who
Well,
made
yeah.
the virus named it after Dune. Anyway, incredible.
Well, of course, the interesting thing about that is obviously in the stories when he wrote those in what, the 50s? And he was already talking about a world where AI had caused wars and intelligent machines had been banned. So this was like he'd already forecasted this whole problem that we're, you know, getting into now, which you and I haven't even talked about AI in the film industry and creativity and all that stuff yet, which I'm sure we'll get onto at some point. But yeah, it's, you know, he foresaw all of that ahead of time. So it's like they have computers, but they're dumb, you know, they're like calculators, basically. They're, you know, like PCs, and that's it. It didn't have any AI because they'd had an intergalactic war over AI and just decided that no one could have intelligent machines.
Yeah.
Which is what they're getting to in the TV show that's based around, I can't remember what it's called, The Sisterhood or something, talking about the beginnings of the Bene Gesserit.
Oh, I haven't watched that. What channel? What's that on? Is it out there?
Amazon.
Okay.
I think it's on Amazon.
Right.
It's about the whole start. It's 10,000 years before Dune.
Right.
And it's the whole start of how the Bene Gesserit got their start.
Wow.
So it's their origin story.
Oh,
So you get the whole story behind Fear is the Mind Killer and all the other stuff that kind of goes with it.
because that's
But anyone who went to Catholic school recognized the nuns.
Oh dear. Half the audience having a little cold shiver down their spines there.
Exactly. There we go.
All right.
So good for
Good
today?
stuff. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Nice to chat to you, as always.
Yeah,
I'll
cool.
expect my usual payment.
Yep.
In the form of a pint glass.
A pint glass, yeah.
The 1 inch at the top shall be white and the rest shall be black. And that's how we roll.
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Even in the summer.
Even
Actually,
in the summer.
Even in the summer. Should have
Cool.
a lager in the summer. Anyway.
All right. Thanks, Angus.
Cheers, David.
Yep.
Nice to see you.